Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ kóòtù òjìrè jákèjádò àgbáláyé. Mo kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ìkànnì àrólé bàbá 1010 TV yìí. Ojú tẹ́ fi ń wò wá, ojú náà ò ní fọ́ lágbára Elédùmarè. Ọwọ́ tí ẹ fi ń ṣí àìtó wa, ọwọ́ náà ẹ ní fi gbọ́mọ sí. Ẹ fọwọ́ náà ka owó, ẹ fi ṣe gbogbo nǹkan rere nílé ayé. Etí tẹ́ fi ń gbọ́ wa, etí náà ò ní di o láṣẹ Ìdùmarè. Ìfẹ́ tó wá so wá pọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ kóòtù òjìrè káàkiri àgbáláyé. Ìfẹ́ náà ò ní já o ẹ̀yin ènìyàn mi. Ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ mi, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlérí tá a ṣe wípé gbogbo bó bá ṣe ń lọ ní ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà, ní pàtàkì ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wa, ilẹ̀ Oòduà wa, pé a máa mú wá fún yín tẹ́yin náà tí ẹ máa rí. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ohun tó tún lọ lọ́wọ́ náà ni mo tún ní kẹ́ jẹ́ ká tún sáré jọ wò ní pápápá. Tí ẹ bá wo orí ayélujára lẹ́nu ọjọ́ bíi mẹ́ta yìí, ohun tó gba orí ayélujára tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ nípa rẹ̀, ó ní Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà, Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà, ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ni ó gba orí ayélujára báyìí wípé wọ́n fi ilẹ̀ ní ọgbà ẹ̀wọ̀n. Tí ẹ bá wá wo fídíò kan tí mo mú wá fún yín lórí ìkànnì ní àná, fídíò yẹn ṣì wà ń bẹ̀, níbi tí princess tí ó fi ẹ̀sùn kan Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà wípé òun ló ṣe ló ṣe ọmọ òun ṣàkàṣàkà, pé ọmọ tí ò tí yẹ kó mọ ọkùnrin, pé Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà ó ti wọ́bọ̀ lójú òun. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ó wá jáde síta, ó wá pariwo pé fífi sílẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà sílẹ̀ pé ewu ńlá ló jẹ́, àti wípé ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó ohun tí ìjọba ṣe, wípé wọn ò jẹ́ kí arákùnrin yóò lo iye ọdún tó yẹ kó lò ní ọgbà ẹ̀wọ̀n kó tó di pé wọ́n lọ ṣe màgòmágó tí wọ́n fi mú arákùnrin yìí jáde. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ìyá yìí sọ ọ̀rọ̀ kan nínú fídíò yìí. Màá mú belenja, kí n tó mú belenja yẹn, arákùnrin kan tí à ń pè ní Yomi Fábíyì. Arákùnrin yìí ló ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti mú Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà ni arákùnrin yìí ti ń jà fìtàfìtà pé ohun tí wọ́n mú Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà fún pé setup lásán gbà ló jẹ́ o, pé wọ́n sẹ́ẹ̀tì Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà ni, kì í ṣe pé Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ ṣe ohun tí wọ́n ní ó ṣe. Arákùnrin wá fèsì lé orí ọ̀rọ̀ tí princess sọ lánàá wípé ewu ńlá ló jẹ́ fún arákùnrin tí wọ́n yọ̀ǹda jáde yìí, àti wípé arábìnrin tútú àṣírí kan nínú fídíò yìí. Fídíò yẹn bíi 16 minutes ni, àti gbé 16 minutes ẹ̀. Eléyìí tí mo wá fẹ́ fún yín báyìí ó dàbí bíi 3 to 4 minutes ni. Kókó nǹkan tí arákùnrin Fábíyì tó fi wá padà jáde, ó wá tú àwọn àṣírí gan bí wọ́n ṣe set up Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Ẹ máa gbọ́ nínú fídíò yìí, ṣùgbọ́n kó tó di pé mo mú yín lọ ọbẹ̀ yẹn kí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ló yé yín, torí pé gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ìtàn náà ló máa padà dà lọ́la. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, àti pé kẹ́ lè máa mọ bó ṣe ń lọ náà ni a ṣe ń bu wá fún yín. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, arábìnrin yìí sọ àwọn àṣírí kan nípa bí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà, pé kì í ṣe pé Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà ṣe ń wu ìwà yẹn, ọ̀rọ̀ tí ò sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti mú Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà, bí kó tó tẹ̀ tó di pé ó sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ohun tí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà ṣe. Ìyá yìí ò sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, ó sọ náà nínú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí o, pé òun ò sọ̀bẹ̀ tó ń fẹ́ sọ ń sìn fún àwọn tí ó lọ gba arákùnrin yìí tó lọ gbà jáde. Lẹ́yìn tí ó wá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, Yomi Fábíyì, ìyẹn bàbá tó ń ṣe agbẹnusọ jàjàǹgbara fún Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà, òun náà ó wá dá princess, ó dá lóhùn èsì àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ nínú fídíò yìí. Ó wá ṣàlàyé pé ọ̀rọ̀ orí bí arábìnrin ṣe sọ gbọ́rọ̀ gan ṣe ríre bí wọ́n ṣe sẹ́ẹ̀tì Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà rẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n kí tó lọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Mr. Fábíyì, ẹ já gbọ́ àwọn kókó àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ bíi 4 tó jẹ́ kókó tí princess tó mú jáde nínú fídíò ẹ̀ kan tí mo ti gbé 16 minutes ẹ̀ lánàá tó jẹ́ full video, ṣùgbọ́n máa kọ̀ fún yín ní belenja àwọn point tó sọ tí Fẹ́mi Yomi Fábíyì fi jáde láti ṣàlàyé ohun tí ó sọ ní ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, sáré jẹ́ ká jọ wo fídíò yìí.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know during some of my videos, I talked about areas where Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà lives, because we couldn't put the addresses out there obviously for security reasons. But I'm going to say some places in Ikorodu, some addresses in Ikorodu: Mafoluku, Sabo, Lagos Island, Oworo. Places everywhere Baba Ìjẹ has lived, because maximum he stays anywhere, even his own house that he built. When he commits a crime, when he assaults a child, he moves his stuff, he moves out of the house either in the middle of the night or very early in the morning without informing the landlord or tenants or agents. That's what he does. And I've spoken to his past victims where he has lived in those areas, but I feel it's not in my position to disclose those addresses, because some of you who have encountered him or who your family members have encountered him know those addresses. But if you still feel like, if you know those addresses and you want to put them under this comment, please feel free to do that. But Mafoluku, Ikorodu, a lot of places in Ikorodu, Lagos Island, Sabo, Oworo. So you have been warned. Emi temi, I have done my best. I have not kept anything, no matter how much it hurts me or hurt my family. I have not hoarded any information. Baba Ìjẹ, Olariwaju James Omiyinka, is now a convicted. He's not, nobody freed him. No, he served his term for this crime. I keep saying this crime because during the trial, I remember one of the victims who wanted to give testimony. She was threatened. So last minute, even though she came, she couldn't testify in open courts. It's not all of us that are strong. And for those who have had family members that have experienced any form of abuse, especially when it's sexual abuse of a minor, you will agree with me that survivors find it tough, especially being dragged through the media and all that. So you can't blame them. So whenever they decide on their own that they've had enough, well, the ball is in their courts. I've done my best. I've done what I can do as a Nigerian, as a concerned mother, as a person, to make sure that we rid our community, our society of this evil, because it is evil. I repeat, it is evil for anyone. I don't care who you are, what position you hold, for you to sexually assault, to sexually abuse anyone, most importantly a minor. So on this note, I also want to urge the Lagos State government, the Department of Justice, to please publish his name, because what happens is when people have been convicted, most offenders, their names are published in the sex offenders register. But because he was appealing at that time and we didn't know where the case would go, in fact it was finally pushed to Supreme Court where a date was given, but he's already served his term and his appeal was thrown out. So I would appeal to the Department of Justice, just as you swiftly post other people who have been convicted of crimes like this, to kindly post his name in the sex offenders register so that people will be aware. So for those of you who are stubborn, who believe you can give him your home, you can rent out your house to him, you can allow him around your kids.
You dey find real Yoruba gist, culture, truth, and vibes. Now here a day. Arole Baba Media, no dollar. Subscribe, sharp.
Okay, no problem. So she invited you to come and shoot a movie, and then she put the girl down to act with you. Then we were able to look into the video and stuff like that, but little to online. Even we saw clearly where Princess was beating that girl. I'm not open a victim, that I began to sense organized crime. And I asked, Kilo wa láàrin méjì. They gave me the history of the relationship and whatever they've had together. I said, okay, this is not like a breakout here. And what was so evident was 2 weeks after Princess had her marriage, she's a very terrible, bitter soul. She wedding 2 weeks after. 2 weeks loti bá ọkọ ẹja. Tolo she marriage. And in the process, Baba Ìjẹ long parija because the person was a younger colleague to Baba Ìjẹ. Along the line, maybe I think that was when they began to, unlevel. So she couldn't be bothered about her marriage again. She was so happy that Omori Baba Ìjẹ is tall, handsome looking guy, talented, and they could be doing their comedy together. Maybe along the line, maybe that was when there was heartbreak and stuff like that, and she couldn't handle it. Now, really quickly, let me go to where concerns our own human rights and when we decide to look into the matter serious. So immediately I put up that stuff. Now why should I ask that people should be calm? You all could solve. You saw the video now. Wait, you mean what on this rule? You are patient. You want to become on this rule. They should allow the law to take its course. You want patient. It's because of arrogance. The language that I spoke is the language of civility. It's important for people to calm down and let the police do their job, and let this person be found guilty before we can condemn anybody. But she thought I'm speaking on the basis of I am trying to support a colleague. Why would I come out and support a sex predator? But I am not blind. Abosi, I can tell you for free. Abosi, 99.9% of our own so that was a setup. That was an intention that you cannot deceive. If you like, just that princess never cared about that girl. And I was going to explain to her that you are the most wicked individual I've ever seen. You don't like that girl. You are willing to use anybody to destroy anybody's life. Actually, recently now, when a mother will be able to use her own children to destroy her husband, you think because when you hide behind sexual abuse, people like us will keep quiet. I understand what it means to fight for human rights. I understand what it means to stand by what is right. I won't be scared. Whatever she will on social media. I'm not in that league. And I've been able to show it evidently. But Mumiki was scared is when I am doing the wrong thing. And social media is coming for me because Omar hits me. But if I am on the right path, Nigeria, social media, because you people keep weaponizing everything and you leave the core civility. So, princess, stop deceiving yourself. You and your co-travelers, and for Baba Ìjẹ is going for life imprisonment. And you had people, including our Onimoto Ngbaye, and a few people in government that Baba Ìjẹ will not step. You vowed that he will never see the daylight again. You all know I will never support sexual abuse of any form. Now, the case went on. I was getting close tab with the police and investigators. And I was like, I went to the police, I said, you guys, you need to do your job. Am I worried? Police now said, okay, princess, you have come to our office. You wrote your statement in Sabo police station that Baba Ìjẹ slept with that girl when she was 7-year-old. And that girl had been having relapsed trauma. that kò tiẹ̀ fẹ́ rí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà sójú, even in TV tó bá rí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà no TV tí máa parọ́ kẹ́ máa já mi princess ní tí tọ́mọ yẹn bá rí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà no TV ó máa ń gbọ̀n àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ lójú sọ́ngbà yẹn. Is that not true? That princess said after Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà had sex with the girl when she was 7-year-old, so only tó bá rí Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà no TV ó máa ń gbọ̀n. Is that not what she said? Now, when she said that on TVC, your view, a lady presenter called Princess again and said, Princess, we need to confirm to us again. When this girl was 7-year-old, did Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà have sex with her? Only yes. Okay. That is a terrible thing. As at that time, she doesn't know what was coming. And then said, police, do your job. Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà said, it's just the total lie. I can tell you for free, police now took that girl after Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà has been detained. They said we have to do our test. If this girl is 14-year-old, certainly you don't expect that Koyekuti managed sex other than the one thought to defile it. Or whatever it is we want to know. Maybe we can find, you know, at least I can establish it. She Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà to Gabali to when she was 7. They can't just admit that only want to Gabali that she was defiled when she was 7-year-old. That means the place would have been open. Police said we want to check if it is open before we can charge Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà for having sex with the girl when she was 7-year-old. Do you know what was shocking? Police ran a test on the girl. The first thing the government doctor said, he said, presence, healing broken hymen, number 1. Healing broken hymen. Hymen is virginity. Only Osha Shenji, no Osha Gabali Omoyeni in 2021, when they claimed she was 14. Osha Gabali. And when the presence of semen, that means after Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà was arrested and set up with that girl, no sex, nothing. They thought they finished using the girl. The girl had returned back to a normal life of sex. And she had sex with another person. Even the person did not even use condom. But they didn't know that investigation would get to that stage, that they would need the girl. And because she was 14, there is no way they would run the test on the girl without the presence of the mother. So they said, bring the girl. When she brought the girl, they said, we are going for a test. That was when they ran the test, could they manipulate it? On an healing broken hymen, that her virginity was just taken. But her virginity is not healed, fully healed. Presence of semen. And then they said, evidence of perpetual penetration. That was what contained in the doctor's report of government, police. Police and Lagos State government, they know this truth as at that time. Including Princess at Anako Travelers. That they were not going to be like, Princess, wait, oh. The reason why you claimed you'd set Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà up was because you said, not that she saw, she said she was told that when the girl was 7-year-old, Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà had slept with her. She virginity turned you on this 7 when the girl was 7. When she is now 14 years old, 7 years after. That was the moment the police knew they have already messed up. And I was already on the neck. Hey, and I was waiting like, okay, you're gonna be, let's see what is going to go on. I was expecting the princess to tell you, might be no princess. This virgin no more. But you actually set Baba Ìjẹ̀ṣà up because you claimed that he had sex with the girl when she was 7-year-old. So the basis of you setting him up is already looking like it is a fake, it is a lie. You set him up based on fake incidents. And then the question that we are going to be waiting for is, whatever the case may be, Elo bere any to any access. You can request for the case file. Elo si panti or elo si kokolo bere. It's quite unfortunate that we don't have a good media. Most of our journalists, they expect that human rights is for victims only. And let me remind you before I go further, when any case comes up like this, the prosecutor, the police, they owe the rights, the duty to protect the rights of major actors in the case equally, particularly the defendant, the victim, and the public in any matter. To criminal matter. The police, the prosecutor, they have the constitutional duty and role to uphold, respect, and equally protect the rights of those three players. Anything on fear sukon, anything fear sukonyo, àti aráàlú, the police wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ láti ṣe. Láti rí pé wọ́n dáàbò bo ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn mẹ́ta ní ọgbọgba láì mú kan sí kan. Now, it was established. Oh, and filing. Police now, okay, now, I now expect that the police will do this. That number one, process. No problem, let's see. Police now realize that because evidence will go here. But they've been able to set him up recently in 2021. And they claim that the girl is 14. And they've already coached the girl. Princess and her co-travelers, they've coached the girl. Baba Ìjẹ thought the girl had interest in him. He didn't know that the girl was giving him side. Don't do it, don't do it. And at the end of the day, police said, this one that you set him up, because you are shouting she's 14, we'll wait until the case gets to court. Then you go and prove your case. But the 7-year-old, when he said 7 years, he told Baba Ìjẹ we have no evidence, and we have even run our test. The test in our hand, we run contrary to the testimony of Princess Baba Ìjẹ. Princess stands so. Don't forget that the 7-year-old, Baba Ìjẹ slept with the girl when she was 7. He used khaki. She never claimed she saw it. Normally, under the law, parental negligence is a criminal offense in Lagos State. A lot of you do not know. It's a serious criminal offense. If a 7-year-old is under you, under your custody, are you with me, guys? These are the things that we were fighting and explaining to her. That if a 7-year-old is under your custody, Baba Ìjẹ does not live in your house. If you claim he came to your house briefly, I kept saying, and he had carnal knowledge of your girl, certainly that 7-year-old will be suffering multiple tears. And apart from that multiple tears, that means the pants will be soaked in blood. We're not like, why? Where were you, Princess? The assertion, the reason why you said you set him up. Where were you? And why didn't you notice that this girl was defiled when she was 7-year-old? And she was sick. A 7-year-old is not expected to be having sex. How can a 7-year-old be defiled? Because she will have multiple tears. I want to go turn this virgin. One more quick dimashita. I want to come kasara because want it bon. But almost 7-year-old could decipher. She cannot pretend or hide the pain. So if a parent cannot detect that a 7-year-old was defiled under her, and then the question we're expecting the police and Lagos State government to ask Princess is, where were you when this girl was deflowered? Because Baba Ìjẹ doesn't live in your house. So if he came to your house and spent probably 30 minutes or 40 minutes and defiled your 7-year-old daughter and left for his house, so your daughter is so scared that even if she has been threatened not to speak, there is no way you, the mother, will not notice. Elle cover that you covered it. But to come to tell us in 2021 that you did not even notice. So now, the truth of the matter is, in 2021, Princess wasn't presenting herself as a witness that, yes, 7 years ago, when the girl was 7, he did it. I took him to social hospital. He did it. She said she did not witness anything. But she acted on that to set Baba Ìjẹ up. It was fake. And I will still buttress that point for you now. Kekere leshi boy. Ema farabale. Egbo mi dada. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo ti sọ láti 2021. Ó ní mo ṣe sọ́nsìn tí ó dẹ̀ dé yí padà. Àwọn tó sponsor ẹ̀ tọ́lé kó sá lọ. Who is that?
I'm sorry.
No. So, at the end of the day, it turns out that we're expecting the police to ask Princess, I said, if you continue to tell us that this girl was defiled under you, and as a parent, you did not take notice, you didn't take her to hospital, you didn't know all this thing happened, you are not even a witness, and you could not even present a single witness. Nobody saw, nobody treated the girl, no hospital, no doctor to say, that's 7 years old. When the girl was 7 years old, I was the one that treated the girl for defilement. It was as empty and blank as anything. Even Princess herself was never a witness. She did not see anything. Nothing happened. But she planned the trap in 2021. Now, a bit more Baba criminal and princess. Police refused to charge him. Lagos State government refused to charge her. Rather, police refused to charge her. Lagos, they didn't touch on that. I went for that. Where is the evidence of this girl's age? No birth certificate, nothing was proven. And when the princess is being paid 14-year-old. And I can tell you all for free, even the girl was writing different ages. Otoni age to koni sabo, otoni age to koni panty. It was Lagos State government, Lombard, non-defended. They were trying to defend her. And I kept laughing. I was the only one facing the matter seriously. Again, so the entire media, I don't know what happened, they went blank on the truth. I was okay, now let's go. An individual was arrested after sperm was found on this girl. But Taloni, you got it one dear boy. And they asked the girl to confess. But I don't know Dominic is any Bagbada. The girl confessed. Tell us those that have been sleeping with you. The guy mentioned everybody could mention Baba Ìjẹ. Only but Damola. But that can kill the security lane. The Damola happens to be princess like a younger brother and a business partner. Oh, I get neighbor. Yewa anule ton Baba Ìjẹ. And don't buy again so the princess more. Okay, to get security lane, she knew. Those ones. Those people were the ones having sex with her and sexually abusing her since 2020. They asked the girl, police asked the girl, did your mother, your foster mother, princess, is she aware that Damola Adekola is sexually abusing you? She said she reported to her in 2020. You know how this terrible, disgusting, wicked princess, she left Damola Adekola, her neighbor, they live in the same house, that have been sexually abusing the girl. She is not interested in justice. She knew since 2020. And at the end of the day, in that the 2021 April, she now wanted to set Baba Ìjẹ up. You slept with theory 7 years ago. Which is a criminal offense to come and act movie. They all went silent. At the princess, you know, àti Ìyábọ̀ ni o àti Tóun ni o àti gbogbo àwọn obìnrin onídọ̀tí gbogbo wọn yẹn they went silent by asking the government and the police to prosecute that Damola Adekola that he was arrested. He was in the same cell. And the guy had already been threatening that if they take him to court, the girlfriend don't go and quote me again. That Damola Adekola wrote in his statement that the girlfriend don't get the princess if he set Baba Ìjẹ up. And he was ready to present evidence but get any UBA account. When I knew already those evidence were there, police knew, and police were ready to remove their hand. They wanted to grant Baba Ìjẹ bail. Nítorí ìtìjú, káyé má bàa sọ princess. As at that time, I was just doing my human rights stuff. And the police were like, we can't continue to do this. You are just bringing powerful people here. This one is coming. Ìyábọ̀ is shouting. People are calling. We know the truth here. The only advantage is that you set him up. And you are saying the girl is 14. And then the CPO was like, you know what? We now know what is happening. You guys had issues between yourself. We don't want this nonsense in our stuff. We will grant Baba Ìjẹ bail. As at that time, I was filming. I was only campaigning about human rights. You know the thing Princess did? But she be commissioner of police, she advised me, all this nonsense that people are doing. I've spoken to this girl now. Look at this Damola. And I'll play. I'll play it for you. I'll play it for you. You will hear the commissioner of police report then. Press release. I will take you guys up to speed. You know, sorry, live have EGC. Police now said they were going to be granting Baba Ìjẹ bail. And then the next thing, Princess Ìjọba pè dáwọn pé ìtìjú máa lélẹ̀ ayé máa bú àwọn ládùúgbò ṣe finish Baba Ìjẹ. What do I do? Somebody now advised them that they should go and protest against the police ní Panti. That was when they went in front of Panti and they were doing a show of shame that they are the constitution, that if the police grant Baba Ìjẹ bail, they will take his life in front of that place. I got furious and I said, not on your life. I mean, even the police said I should not come and do a counter protest. When I'm sorry, go. Let me call them back. My debate, me. And as a human rights organization, I put up a campaign. One of the tenets and fundamental human rights is the right to bail. As at that time, I am not saying that Baba Ìjẹ should not be prosecuted. If anybody abuses children, pay for it if you commit a crime against a child. But you cannot deny him his fundamental right to bail. Especially when this is an organized crime. Especially when the police, they've done their test. They realize that it was a total lie. Nothing happened 7 years. Oh, Boma Okoson, 7 years. Maybe 6 months before Baba Ìjẹ was arrested. But Princess lied to the entire nation that it was 7 years ago when the girl was 7-year-old. A defilement that under the law, our inability to even say I am a witness. But 7-year-old, 7 years stuff, those are because see, Princess she never said I am a witness. I asked the girl, who did this to you? She was a dummy. She didn't mention a name. But this is the hospital I took her to. Then would have gotten the doctor or the hospital as a witness. But she was presenting an incident that carries life imprisonment without a single evidence, a single witness, or anything. If we don't stand up, Baba Ìjẹ, Ọlọ́run ló mẹ́ni tí ẹni iṣẹ́ tó fẹ́ ṣe irú kà báyìí. Ọlọ́run ló mẹ́ni tó ṣe. Now, I want to play the Commissioner of Police press release that time. I want you guys to hear. He will confirm the other guy that was arrested with Baba Ìjẹ. Princess, Iyabo, Tom, they did not want you people to know that there is another guy that was arrested. Tombas Pamọ, to just confirm with girlfriend. They didn't want you all to know, because if that guy is pronounced, Tomba prosecuted, the guy does not want to go to jail, because only one evidence over 14-year-old son. If truly the girl was 14, so if the guy is able to convince the court that the girl, Tofi said Baba Ìjẹ she's 14, she's a young adult, almost 19-year-old ni, Baba Ìjẹ mag do anybody in the court to join, because they destroyed my life with fake lies. So they are making him look like a pedophile, whereas they put up a young adult that has been having sex to set him up. Now come and listen. I go Commissioner of Police in there. I go.
So, in terms of salary, you were thinking...
I was hoping you would tell me what you were thinking.
Oh, I insist, please.
I insist.
I insist.
I insist.
Please.
With Indeed, set salary expectations from the start and skip the awkward chat.
You dey find real Yoruba gist, culture, truth, and vibes. Now here they. Arole Baba Media, no dollar. Subscribe, sharp, sharp.